What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Our Kind of People, you guys. Sorry that this is late. This is season 1, episode number 3. This episode is titled Hot Links and Red Drinks, you guys. So before we get into this review, you guys, next week we got a jam-packed week. You guys know that we got Our Kind of People on Tuesday. Games People Play is back, as well as the Oval is back next week, and then also Sisters comes back next week. So we got a jam-packed week next week, but we're gonna get through it. So before we get into the review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and are not already subscribed to the channel, then I'm gonna need you guys to do me a solid favor: hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell button so you guys are notified of when I drop anything else. Share the video, and with that out of the way, you guys, let's go ahead and talk about Our Kind of People, shall we? All right, you guys. So this episode, we're celebrating Juneteenth. Now, I love Juneteenth. It's my favorite holiday in the summer, right? So we see Ange. So Ange actually, in the beginning of the episode, she was having this dream, and in the dream, Eve was there, right? So she's telling Piggy about this dream, and she's like, I couldn't, she's asking her how did she sleep. She says, I didn't sleep that well, right? So she's like, but she said, I heard you last night as well. And Piggy was like, it was probably just I slept with the TV on. But no, what happened is, which I forgot to mention in last week's review, was that Teddy came over there and she pulled that gun on him, right? So then we see Nikki. So Nikki and Ange were actually dancing, but then Nikki went to her room, right? So while Nikki's in her room, there's this video that's come across her phone, and it's a fight video. So I'm like, okay, is this Nikki fighting somebody, right? And you see all the comments, right? So then we see Raymond, right? Raymond went and picked up Lauren from the police station, and at the house they're getting ready for this party, this Roses party, some kind of party, right? It's a party that they throw for Juneteenth, and it's actually a party that Nana Rose, started, right? That is Leah's mom, right? So Lauren tells Raymond that she loves Taylor, and compared to how Leah was last week, Raymond is very supportive of Lauren in her sexuality, right? So Leah comes out, and Leah is just a complete B word. Like, that's all I gotta say about Leah. She is just super nasty. So then Raymond is telling her that, because Quincy and Lauren eventually left, right? So Raymond is telling her, like, hey, we got to get ready for the this interview with Ange for the incubator program. And she's like, she scoffs. She basically scoffs. I'm like, girl, you really looking your nose down at her, right? But you already know that she's your sister, but you really looking your nose down at her. But go off, sis, go off. So we're gonna pause here, you guys, and we're gonna move forward. All right, you guys. So next, let's talk about Tyrese. So Tyrese is over at Ange's. You guys remember he's doing work for her, right? So they're talking, right? So then Tyrese is trying to take Ange out on a date, right? So she's like, we're trying to go to like a Juneteenth party. So Ange likes the party. I'm like, okay, I rocks with it, right? So then we see Ange. She was dressed up. She was getting ready for her meeting with, Raymond and Leah for the incubator program, right? So she's giving her presentation to them, right? And then Leah says, Leah, I have an issue. Leah is pretentious as hell, right? So Leah is like, the packaging. You could really work on that packaging. It's really giving me ghetto swap meet. And Angela's like, but that's my clientele. And those ghetto swap meets that you're talking about, people at those ghetto swap meets, they make pretty good money. So I don't really know what you're trying to say. And I love the fact that Ange just clapped back at her ass, right? So Leah says, well, yeah, Raymond, it's going to be a no for me. I'm like, I just really wanted to reach to the TV screen and slap the shit out of her. Like, Ange, I want Ange to do it. Somebody just slapped Leah, really, right? So then we see Leah in the parking lot. She's like, yeah, with all the applicants, I'm always like that with them. So it's no hard feelings. And Ange was like, yeah, no hard feelings. Like, you don't know me personally, so no hard feelings. So then she started singing this song, and she got her key, and she just going down the side of her car. I was like, yes, Ange, let Leah know, girl, I know what you doing, but it ain't gonna work. Like, let her know it ain't working. So then we see Ange. So Ange was on live. She was talking to her followers like, hey, you guys, I know that we've had this, this image on our product for quite some time now, but I think we need to do some rebranding and change the look of the packaging, right? And she's asking her followers, like, give me some, like, let me know, do you want me to change it or do you want me to keep it the same? Meanwhile, Leah is watching said live. I'm like, girl, she can probably see that you're watching her live. Like, when people join your live, you can see who joins your live on Instagram. But okay. So then we see Raymond, right? So Raymond went to talk to Teddy, right? And Raymond is telling Teddy that Ange, her company is very promising and it just needs a little bit of work, basically, right? So he says he also wants to talk about Darman. So Darman at this point is on track to paying Teddy back the loan that he gave him, but at this point he doesn't have access to the books. Well, Teddy has a lot of Papa Pope in him, right? Because Teddy told him, like, women most times pick a man that is similar to their father, right? You and I are no different. We can be anything but, they're opposites, right? So I'm taking it that Teddy is a noob. And did he say he's an alpha? But he said to Teddy, nope. I was like, oh. That was fucked up. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So let's move back over to Leah, right? So Leah went to see her mother, right? So she's telling her mother about the party that they're getting ready to have. So like I said before, it's a party that Rose started, and it was a party that everyone wanted to, get the invitation to, basically. So then we get a flashback scene where it was a young Leah and her mother, and she was looking at the roses, and to her the roses weren't right. And then you looked at her hands, she opened her palms, and her palms were bloody. I was like, oh wow, damn. And then you see men in white jackets come in, and they stick her with something. I'm like, so Teddy is no better than Papa Pope. Damn. Okay, I guess. So Teddy had her committed, right? So then she goes to do her mother's hair, and when she goes to get the product, she notices that it is, Eve's crown. So then she goes over there to Ange and asks Ange, like, why did you go see my mother? And Ange says, well, why were you on my live? She says, I don't know what you're talking about. She says, yeah, whatever. So she says, I'm pretty sure you went to see her about my father and this paternity claim that you have. And Ange said, okay, since you want to go there, then yes, we are sisters. And she says, if Teddy sent you to talk to me, then he's a true coward. And then Leah's like, well, how much is it going to cost to get you just to go away? We can get rid of that credit card debt, that you have, the student loans that's in default, this, that. I'm like, oh, okay. Ooh. Ange is better than me. Ange got a little bit more patience than me, because I would just slap the teeth. I would really slap her teeth out of her mouth, because Miss Mama's be asking for it, right? So Ange went to pay a visit to Teddy, right? And she's saying, instead of sending your guard dog, you could have come and saw me yourself. He says, I didn't send Leah. So then she says that, basically she can't be paid off. Got that check, burn that motherfucker, put it in his glass. Now, actually, before that, with Leah, she pricked herself, put the blood on there. Like, here, take this. Go do a DNA test. It'll prove that we're sisters. So then he tells her, you don't know the story about me and your mother. Well, do tell, sir. Tell us all what the story is, right? So then he apologizes to her, and he says he wants to manage this, and he asks her, what can I do for you? She says, the same thing that you've been doing for me. Absolutely nothing. That's what you can do for me. I'm like, high five, Ange. Like, Ange is my girl. High five. The only thing that I have an issue with Ange is the fact that I get what she's trying to do. She's trying to figure out what happened with her mother and Teddy. But as far as trying to get in with this society, it wouldn't be me. It would not be me. But let's move on. All right, you guys. Next up, we see Taylor and Nikki. So Taylor and Nikki, they have formed this a little friendship with each other, right? They're at the beach and they're having a good time with each other, right? Taylor's like, she's like, can we please hang out this summer? Because none of these other people that supposedly my friends have even reached out to me, even after I got out the hospital. And Nikki was like, yeah, we can hang out, right? So then we got Lauren and her friends over on the side doing a field or house comp. Who would be in the field and who would be in the house? I was like, that is colorism. Like, y'all, that is colorism. But okay, I'm not gonna go into that conversation because I've already talked about colorism on the Real Housewives of Potomac, and we can talk about it again this week. Again, I probably will have to talk about it again. But hey, so Nikki was like, why y'all making a joke about that shit? That's not funny. Like, that really ain't funny. Because y'all do know that. Because here's the thing. Y'all do know that most of the white men, they were sleeping with the black women. But they were still just as racist. But okay. Yeah. It didn't matter how dark she was. A vagina is a vagina. He stuck his penis in there. But you know what? We're not going to go there. So then the girl says, yeah, new girl would be filled AF. And Nikki went and beat her. I'm like, oh, Nikki, why? So then we see Tyrese, and he took Angela to his VIP skybox, right? But this is something that he has not yet presented to Teddy. And in this moment, I was thinking to myself, I really like Tyrese. I like his hustle. I like his drive. I like his determination and his ambition. But we're going to have to dig into Mr. Teddy a little bit deeper. I mean, not Teddy, but Tyrese. A little bit more into this episode. Tyreek. Is his name Tyreek? Tyreek, I believe. Or is it Tyrese? Tyrese. I'll get it. I need to get it right. But I think his name is Tyreek. Or is it Tyrese? Either one. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Lance Gross character. But let's move on. All right, you guys. Next up, Nikki and Taylor, they're still sitting on the beach. Nikki is crying because the same thing that happened with this young lady that was just doing the field and house competition. Nikki got into a fight last year for the same thing, and she just doesn't want to be that girl. And Taylor was like, "No, you're not that girl. Like, that's not the person that I'm getting to know." And then she says, since Nikki was able to be open and vulnerable with her, she told her about the situation between she and Lauren. Well, technically, there is no situation between she and Lauren because she was drunk, but she says Lauren didn't push her, so she doesn't really know what happened. So then we see back at Leah's house that, Quincy and Lauren are having a conversation about her being a lesbian and just talking about their parents, right? Leah is listening to them, right? So then Raymond comes up and tells them, like, I've heard some things, I remember the last time I listened to him, he heard what they said, right? So Leah then tells him that Angela is her sister and that she offered her money, but she didn't take it. And he says, well, she's making you wait to see what she really wants. And it's not the money, right? So then we see Piggy. So Piggy is out somewhere and she has a shovel. So it looks like she's getting ready to dig something up. Then Teddy hops in a car with her, right? And we find out that where she's at, he bought this land. He's telling her, he's giving her a BS reason why he bought the land, right? And it's because, so she said the last time you bought this land after I had an issue with someone by the name of Darius, he says you killed him. So then she's like, is the body, she's trying to figure out if the body is there, right? And he tells her to leave. He says either you get Angela out of town or he'll dig it up and use that against her. I'm like, oh shit. Okay. The plot is thickening, right? So then we see Nikki. So Nikki went back home and Angela asked where was she, right? She said she was with Taylor. She's like, are you high? She's like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal, right? So then she says, I'm taking your phone, I'm putting a tracker on it, and no social media for a week. So then she sees the video. She's like, what is this? And Nikki was like, don't play that. So then she plays the video and it's the fight from the year prior, right? And she's like, is this the fight? She says, yes, somebody must have recorded it. I just didn't know about it, right? and they were talking about someone being a skillet, right? And she was like, "Are they talking about you?" She says, "No, they're talking about Grandma Eve, right?" And she fought to defend her grandmother, right? And she breaks down because she says in that scene that her grandmother was her best friend. I was like, oh, I know that feeling, right? My mom and my grandmother were both my best friends, so I know where Nikki is going through this really hard, right? So we are going to pause here and we're going to keep going, you guys. All right, guys. So then Ange was talking to Piggy about how she just been missing things with Nikki, and she just feels like she's failing her as a parent. And Piggy says, no, you're not failing her as a parent. Like, you got her out of that bad situation and you brought her here. So everything that you're doing is for her. So no, you are not wrong about anything. So then Anne says that she wants to go to this party. And she was like, did you get an invitation? She says, no, I'm just going to walk in and I want to talk to Teddy. So we do see her. She goes to the party and she spots Teddy. So then she goes up to Teddy and talks about the incubator program. He tells her that he can't overstep Leah. And she's like, oh, so back to you basically doing the nothing that you have done for my entire life, right? So then Lauren brought Rose, who is Leah's mom, there, right? And she's having this meltdown about the roses not being pink enough, being something, right? So then Leah goes up to her and she's talking to her mother. She's like, you're not my daughter. She's like, yes, I am. And then Ange walks up and she thinks that Ange is Leah. She's like, why does my mother think that you're me? She's like, I don't know. Which she really doesn't know. So then Leah, in her feelings, put the whole business out there that I am your daughter. That is Daddy's bastard child that he had with the maid. I was like, well, damn. Okay. So then after that had broke out, so Leah told Teddy that told them that this is all over the blogs now. Well, shit, you don't want to blurt it out to the public. So now she wants to blame Teddy. And so she's like, what did she say? She's trying to blame Teddy, and Teddy's like, that ain't got shit to do with me. You the one that got into your feelings and put that out there, right? And Raymond's like, watch how you talk to my wife. I mean, he's telling your wife the truth, right? So then Teddy whispers to Leah at one point, handle that, talking about Ange, right? So Angela tells them that basically the best way to stop this is if we present ourselves as a family. And that's exactly what they did. They went back on stage and they are now one united family. And Angela takes it upon herself to say, hey, and on top of that, I'm going to be a part of this Franklin Small Business Incubator Program. And I was like, oh, I know Leah is seething. Leah was seething. And I'm like, I can see it all in your face. All right, you guys. So we're going to pause here and we're going to wrap up the episode. All right, you guys. So Teddy and Tyreek. So I guess Tyreek must have put some kind of security footage around Ange's place so that she doesn't know about. Oh, huh? I was confused because what it is I guess Angela will never know about Teddy, and I guess him coming. I don't know if he's coming and going. I don't know. It was interesting because they didn't really elaborate on it, but Tyreek has done something for Teddy, right? And then Teddy's just like his daughter. Because you looking down, because you talking about the help, and I'm like, oh, so you looking down on the help, right? So then Teddy offers, so in gratitude to Tyreek for what he did for him, he's like, I'll let you pitch your VIP boxes. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, and I also forgot to mention earlier in the episode, so when Angela went to visit Teddy, I saw it, he was shaking at one point. I'm like, Teddy must have Parkinson's. So when Tyreek left out, the doctor called him, and of course, he does have Parkinson's, right? So then we see Lauren, and she's talking to Leah. Leah and Lauren are talking, right? And Leah tells Lauren that Taylor dropped the charges against her, and Lauren was just upset about everything, right? Like, I'm a lesbian, but you don't want to accept that, but the family got so many damn secrets. Like, we keep Nana Rose a secret. We got to embrace this newfound family. Like, but she's like, can you accept me? And Leah finally says, yes, I can accept you. So then we see Ange. So Ange is talking to Nikki, right? and she tells Nikki that she wants to make her the face of Eve's crown. And Nikki is like, you found your family, but I don't even know. So at this point, I realized Nikki doesn't know who her father is, and she believes that her father is from a one-night stand. But then at the end of the episode, we see as Ange went to the prison to see Nikki's father and talking about it's time for her to meet her father. I was like, oh, each episode is just been amazing to watch. But that's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Leave your comments in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified when I drop anything else, and share the video. And until the next one, stay safe, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear your mask, social distance, be blessed, and I'm going to catch you guys later. Bye.